So if we're looking at these examples, these are going to be ones where we have to rewrite all of them in order to find the antiderivative or the integral correctly. This first one, the issue with it is this x squared is in the denominator, and to use the power rule, x or whatever your variable is can't be in the denominator, so you would want to bring it up with a negative exponent. Bringing it up with a negative exponent would become x to the negative 2, and then the coefficient would be 1/5 of x. A common mistake I see with that problem is students, when they rewrite it, they also just bring the 5 up out of the denominator, which of course would be incorrect because that 5 didn't have like the exponent on it and it didn't need to move. Like it wasn't a variable to begin with. And then we can go ahead and find the antiderivative. So the coefficients come straight across. Add 1 to the exponent, divide by the new exponent. Don't forget your plus c. You can leave your answer like that, or if you're simplifying it, it would become -1 over 5x plus c. But both of those answers would be correct. The second one, to do it correctly, these are 5 times x, so that squared could distribute, and we would have 25x squared, whose antiderivative would be 25 comes across, x cubed, divide by the new exponent, and then of course the plus c. A mistake I often see that is wrong is students will not distribute that squared, is they might just like add the 1 to the exponent and then divide by the new exponent and leave that as a 5, which of course would be incorrect. So just make sure you do those properties of exponents correctly. Same thing in this last one. Some students just forget to deal with it. An incorrect answer I often see is people will distribute a squared across, which we know is a big no-no. We cannot distribute a squared sign across a plus or a minus sign. The correct way to do this problem is to use the distributive property or FOIL to get 25 plus 10x plus x squared. I like writing mine so the x squareds come first. So now that we have the correct antiderivative, we can go ahead and find, actually we have the correct integrand, we can find the correct antiderivative. So we'd have 1/3 of x cubed. That would become an x squared, 10 divided by 2 is 5, plus 25x, and then our plus c. That 5x squared did come from the term 10 over 2x squared, and honestly, if you left it like that, I would give you full credit for that second term. Questions on any of those three? All right, so this slide I did share with you before class on Monday. It is in like the news feed, kind of like the posts in Teams. But this is kind of everything to help you get ready for your quiz. So what's due tomorrow is homeworks numbers 1 and homeworks number 2. I will say it will help me out if you click on the turn in option in Teams. Just helps me with checking it. But again, if you do it in OneNote, then it's going to show up in my OneNote once I sync it up. Where will tomorrow's quiz show up at for those of you new to me? It is going to be distributed via Teams through OneNote, so you'll be able to write on it using your Surface. You can also write on a sheet of paper and upload pictures. But the actual assessment will show up under the 05 Unit 5 tab, and then the 05 assessment. There will be a meeting running tomorrow. You don't have to join it, but it will be running in case you had any questions that you wanted to ask, or if there's just some tech issues, then go ahead and join the meeting so you can ask them. But it will run the entire class period. Don't have to join it, but you can if you need to or want to. Additionally, I did write it as a 40-minute quiz, so it's only 40 minutes. It should only take you 40 minutes to do. For all my classes for this first quiz, I did add a 15-minute buffer to it just for any tech issues. So things like maybe it just takes a while to distribute or whatever else may happen, maybe just take a little bit extra time. I did give you a little buffer, but again, you really only need 40 minutes to do it. This is 6 periods, so it's going to post right at the start of class. So it's going to post not until 1:15. and then it's going to be due at 2:10. So class officially ends at 1:55. 15 minutes after that will be 2:10. If you want a practice quiz, I just uploaded the blank one. It's an old quiz. It's actually a BC quiz, but it's the same topic for this unit. So doing the BC quiz, same level, it will be fine for you. And then this is what is posted on that channel in Teams. So this is just all the topics that will be covered. It looks like a lot, but again, it's really just homeworks number 1 and 2. For Riemann sums, you need to know how to find the 4 Riemann sums that we have. And then also know how to determine whether you have an over or an underestimate. Either I'll tell you, hey, this graph is concave up and increasing, or you have your knowledge of your parent functions and know what that graph should look like. And then basic integration, I think this makes it look a lot harder than it actually is, but there's different ways I can ask that. There's integral notation. I could use the phrase solve the differential equation. I might have you solve from f double prime or f prime. I can also include some position, velocity, and acceleration in there. There are 2 questions. Make sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah, 2 questions we have to go back and solve for that constant. So find the particular solution instead of just leaving it generalized. And then we have our basic antiderivative rules. So we have the power rule. Sometimes you have to rewrite it. Sometimes you can integrate it as is. And then we have the 6 trig rules to know. Again, sometimes you have to rewrite it. Sometimes you can integrate it as is. I will say most of the ones in the quiz will have some sort of rewriting, whether it's just like a basic, like write a root as a fraction exponent or using a negative exponent, to some of the more complicated ones like I wouldn't really call FOIL complicating, but maybe knowing like your trig identities to force a trig one to show up. Doing all of homework 2 will definitely give you practice with the rewriting that you need to do. I used homework 2 as I was looking at homework 2 to write the quiz. So that being said, does anyone have any specific questions or just like general questions about tomorrow's quiz? All right, so I'm going to stop the recording now and open up for